So a week ago, a brand new Kamen Rider OOO movie was announced. And yeah, I'm a week late to the news, but I wanted to talk about it. Not really necessarily, I'll go into the details about the film, but since it is a week old news, I kind of just wanted to share my thoughts about it, because this is really, really cool and really, really unexpected. So let's go ahead and talk all about it. So last week at the Tokyo International Film Festival, they announced the upcoming film Kamen Rider OOO's 10th Revival of the Core Metals, which will be a VSNX film for Kamen Rider OOO, releasing in the spring in Japanese movie theaters and next August on Japanese like Blu-ray, DVDs, and stuff like that. And basically, it's like those Sentai 10 years after films, which we got with like Hurricaneger, Dekaranger, Go-Onger, and then most recently with Ten Gokaiger, which literally is coming out in Japanese theaters like right now. And so we're getting one for OOO now, which is like the first time we've had a movie like this for a Kamen Rider series. And I think that that really opens up the door to a lot of really, really cool things, because if OOO can get this, I'd love to see like Gaim get it or Drive get it or something like that. But OOO is a definitely deserving series to get it, and just shows how like strong the superhero time of 2011 was when you had Gokaiger and OOO airing at the same time. Like what a powerhouse of tokusatsu right there. So this film looks awesome. Like, I love what they're doing with this. I love how many people they got back. I love how many different forms we're getting in new suits. And OOO is, of course, a huge fan favorite series. It's one that I watched a very long time ago. I'd probably have to rewatch it for this or something, but it's been a while. I probably watched it within the first like year or two of me being a Kamen Rider fan, so like 2013, 14, somewhere around there. But I've always liked it. I've always liked a lot about OOO. I love the characters. I've enjoyed them coming back over the years for things like Heisei Generation's Final, or when, you know, Eiji and Hina came back for Kamen Rider Geo, stuff like that. What's really cool about this is that it does one of my favorite things of like return specials or reunions, where they build upon something that was kind of like, you know, not really left up to interpretation, but like not really finished. And if you guys know, obviously there's going to be spoilers here for the finale of OOO, which I guess this film is also basically going to be a spoiler for the finale of OOO. But in the finale of OOO, Ankh dies during the final battle with the Kyoryu Greed. And it's always been implied that one day Eiji would find a way to bring him back somehow. And we've seen that. We've seen that for numerous different years when he came back in with War Megamax. It was an Ankh from the future that came with Kamen Rider Aqua and Poseidon, and it showed that eventually Eiji would figure this out. And then in Heisei Generation's Final, Ankh came back temporarily, but it wasn't like a permanent solution. So I love that they've been, you know, every time that, you know, the two of them have been back on screen, it's never been like the definitive solution, and this looks like we're finally going to get that. Which is just really, really neat that we're finally going to do something like that. And then not only that, we have like the villain of this movie, which will be a new form for the original OOO, the King OOO. But basically, it's a new Tatsuba head, where it's like it's like kind of a golden, kind of rusted looking Tatsuba head with a bunch of cracks and stuff in it. Love how that looks. It's a simple detail, but I don't know, I feel like every time they modify the Tatsuba helmet, it really works. Like, the Tajadol one looks really pretty. Of course, just the simple purple eyes one from towards the end of OOO, I think, works well. And I think this does the same purpose. I mean, obviously, it's a little bit more involved, but I think it works, and I like it. And then, of course, he gets Kamen Rider Extremer's, like, cloak jacket thing, which is from Ghost. Whatever the final villain was from Ghost, like from the final episode, that was a reuse of the Extremer suit. So this is like a reuse of that reuse, I think. I don't think they changed it. Anyway, it's using that. So that's where that jacket comes from, or the big cloak. And like, yeah, obviously it's a part reuse, but like, who cares? I love when I see Toei uses these parts, because it makes sense. You know, you make all these parts for these movie exclusive riders and such, and you never use those riders again. You might as well do stuff like this for, you know, this new form of King OOO. And then we have this other OOO, which I believe is supposed to be the King OOO as well, kind of a final form for this, and this is sweet. I cannot wait to see a full body shot of this suit, because we get different glimpses at it during the trailer, but we never really got to see like a good full suit look of it. But this is where the new metals are going to come in, or part of the new metals, and also it looks like this is going to be some kind of like all-encompassing OOO combo. So this is like this really cool looking combo that has the shoulders of Tamashi combo. So you kind of have a reference there, but it's like they're painted differently to have like you know, red and blue and green and stuff on there to kind of represent like Laptotorotar and Katakiriba and Shouta and stuff like that. And then, but then again, like I said, the shoulder pads are from Tamashii, so you can kind of have it reference that form as well. The legs look to be sort of references to like Tajadol or Super Tataba, I think is on the claws and stuff like that. The head, where the face, like the mask of it, is definitely a new piece, which is purple, which makes me think of like Putotira. But then you look at the side angle of it, the back of the helmet is just the top of the helmet from Burukawani. So they used all of these different pieces, but it works for me. I like this a lot. But it does look like this new form of O's, or the new form of King O's, is going to be achieved using the brand new Goda medal set. But these basically look like super version medals of the Mukachiri combo medals, which was one of the original CSM exclusive forms. Which is interesting, because this definitely connects back to that, to those CSM exclusive forms from those medals that were originally from Movie War Mega Max. O's has done a pretty good job of making those actually pretty relevant, especially with the CSM stuff. But Mukachiri combo was the main combo featured actually in the Memory of Heroes game last year. They did actually make that suit a playable like form of O's in the game, so it was kind of a part of a method of them like making the CSM stuff and different things. So like I believe that I want to say Gamba Rising got a card based off of one of them, and then one of them appeared in Memory of Heroes. Soto did one of them, and then eventually that one sold well enough to do all of them, so they did Soto figures of all of the CSM combos, which was really sweet, and I'm sure that they're going to do Soto Chronicle figures of all of these new forms, because why wouldn't they? So that's pretty cool, and this is called Kamen Rider OOO's Tajador Combo Eternity. So this is definitely like a very Ankh-themed Tajador combo, which, yes, is already Ankh-themed because those are his medals, but this looks sweet. I love the rainbow kind of patterning. You can definitely see where like they took inspiration from the Ankh Greed design and put it into Tajador even more than it already was present. So honestly, like, this looks like, I'm assuming this is some kind of like edgy and Ankh like combo or fusion form, kind of like a cross build kind of thing or something like that. And it works a lot. And I mean, Tajadol is already one of like the greatest Kamen Rider suits. I mean, people will always love that suit because it's gorgeous. And I think they just definitely stepped it up here. I think it looks really good. I think like they did a good job making it feel like some kind of more powerful or more meaningful version of Tajadol. But I do want to talk about probably my favorite form here. I mean, all of these look great. There's like, what, 4 brand new suits? We have the King O's, like cracked Tajador, Stealing Ghosts coat thing, and then we have the big every combo referencing form. We have the new Tajador form, but then Birth is getting a brand new form, and this one is really interesting, where we see some kind of new attachment piece onto the side of the Birth driver that appears to be allowing him to use core medals, specifically the core medals of the Bikaso combo, which was another one of those complete selection modification forms. But this one makes a lot of sense because those medals were like O's versions, basically, of a shrimp, scorpion, and a crab. Well, then those medals, the black versions of them never really went on to do anything important in the show or anything, but they did have cell medal versions, which were kind of the more heavily used ones by Birth. They were the ones that came with like the Birth driver and Birth Buster toys and stuff like that. And of course you had things like the different, like the Birth Scorpion and stuff. So he was always kind of sort of based off of those, but like the cell versions of those. But now, since we have those O's versions that gave an official, an official O's combo, the Bikaso combo, in both CSM and Soto and stuff like that, it does look like those special CSM versions of them are going to be used by Birth in this movie. At least it definitely appears that way. It looks like, kind of the way I can see this is it looks like 2 of them are placed in this adapter thing on the side of the Birth driver, and then I'm assuming one of them is actually placed in the Birth driver in place of a cell medal. So that's pretty interesting now, because he never used like core medals. He only ever used cell medals. So I think that's an interesting way to like power up Birth. I think it definitely works to do something like that. And I definitely think that means that we're going to probably be on track to get a complete selection modification Birth driver with whatever this attachment piece, however that works and whatever it's called. I'm sure we'll be able to slot on there some way. I don't know if maybe they re-release those medals. Maybe they're like some kind of new super versions of those as well. Maybe we just can't see that yet. It's certainly possible, but I love how this looks too, because it also just adds all this color to the Birth suit. And Birth is already one of my all-time favorite secondary riders. I love the characters of Date and Goto. I love the Birth suits. The The Birth Buster, even though it's such a weird name, is literally probably my all-time favorite tokusatsu weapon. Not only because the toy is super sweet, but like it's an awesome thing. And in the toy, where it can like fire the cell metals, but like not really, is one of like, I love that thing. I want to own one so badly. I've never owned a Birth Buster, and I've wanted one for years. So if this can give us like a CSM Birth Buster, Bandai, I might have to do it. I might have to pre-order it. I might have to do that. So, hey, maybe we're gonna get that. Maybe at least a Birth Driver. But hey, I love a Birth Buster. Not that I couldn't find one from the original toy line, and I think that one's already perfect enough. So we'll see what happens. But all this talk of complete selection modification and toys and stuff, well, we are going to get some more complete selection modification related OOO releases out of this movie. And this is going to be the first time that they were promoting this and everything, that a complete selection modification caliber level of a toy is going to be a pack-in with the Blu-ray. So if you want to get to the brand new Tajaspinner and Gota metal set, you have to get to the Blu-ray of this brand new film, and it costs a lot of money. I will put the Toku Collectibles link to it in the description below if you want to get it, but it's like well over $200. It's very expensive. But you're going to get an adult-sized version of the original Tajaspinner, which was featured as the weapon for Tajadol. And this is going to have this is the Tajinity version of it. So it's going to have two different like plates that you can swap out to have the original Tajaspinner design or the new Tajador Eternity design. They're all the same. Infinity, Eternity, whatever. So you're going to get the plates to do that, and then you're also going to get the new Gota metal set, which is those like super Mukachiri combos used by this new all-encompassing OOO's king form. So you're going to get those three metals in the Tajinity spinner. So this, I mean, it looks nice. I think the Tajinity like plate looks really pretty. I liked the original Tajador spinner, the way that it worked and how it was just the Tajador symbol, as you know, like the one that's on the chest on there. But this has a lot more color to it. I think it looks a lot more vibrant, and I think it definitely is better than the original one in design. But it's also just cool to have a fully like adult-sized, you know, the whole grip will be like for an adult hand-sized CSM Tajaspinner, which is something we never got with the original CSM stuff, and it makes me think a lot of like the drag visor that comes with the CSM V-buckle set and everything like that, because you know it's like an adult-sized version of the weapon. But it has been a week. It has been a week of a lot of interesting Kamen Rider information. I think this movie looks pretty sweet. I am looking forward to watching it. I love how they have like basically the entire main cast back. You have this nice photo of all of them there. It's great to see them all again. You know, I can't believe it's been 10 years since OOO's. I mean, I didn't watch it 10 years ago. I watched it like 7 to 8 years ago, which still, I can't believe it's been that long since OOO's. So, you know, I'm really excited for this. I know a lot of my friends are really excited for this. And I guess I'm more excited just not only because, I mean, I love OOO's, but I'm just more excited about like the possibilities that this opens up to like what other Rider shows could get these 10th anniversary films, because especially as we get to the era of Rider that I started to watch live, like Gaim, Drive, stuff like that, I would be like over the moon if we got something like this for those. So I would love to hear you guys have to say down in the comments below about the new OOO's film, about all the new forms. Are you going to pick up this new CSM Tajinity spinner? All that good stuff. And I do think I'm going to have a sort of, not really a follow-up to this video, but it's going to kind of build off of the complete selection modification part of this video, because we did get the announcement this past week for the complete selection modification Deca Driver version 2. And I really want to talk about that for a couple of different reasons, because there's a lot of really cool things happening with that, and also I want to complain about it for a minute. So we will talk about that, I think, in a video on Sunday. But, you know, let me know if you guys want to see that. If you don't, I guess I just won't make it. But yeah, that's all I have. Thank you all for watching this video. Of course, until next time, you can follow me on Twitter at LivingRangerKey or at LightningFigPR, and I'll see you all next time.